Due to the damage caused to Earth's environment, a new ice age took over the planet, and humans had to take refuge underground to avoid death. In one of the rare shelters that remained, an alert sounds and screams of fear are heard as two terrified individuals flee down the corridor with something threatening on their tail. They reach the door, but to their misfortune, it's locked, and the pair is murdered by their hunter. At the same time, in another shelter, Sam is outside fixing the satellite dishes when he sees a man leaving. The sick fellow begs for one more day to recover, but Mason thinks they've already spent too many resources and shows no mercy, even though the guy asks to let him go. But Mason doesn't care about this and disrespects the wishes of the sick and kills one of them, claiming it's to ensure the group's survival. Sam tried to stop it, but it didn't help, and later returns inside, where it's discovered that the few who remained are terrified of catching a cold. The last time the flu struck, 20 people died in less than 7 days. That's when Briggs, their leader, established a new rule. Whoever gets sick goes into quarantine. If they don't recover, they have two options: a bullet or a cold walk in the snow. The inhabitants of this place strive to help each other and maintain seed planting, but they are no longer the hundreds they were before, as food is becoming increasingly scarce. Hey, what would you do if it started snowing all over the planet and never stopped? The movie I'm going to summarize is called The Colony. It's a movie that mixes action, fiction, horror, and suspense. The movie has a survival-style feel to it. The movie is very good, and I highly recommend watching it. That's why I invite you to subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and leave a like to receive the best recaps. There is a legend about a warm and pleasant place, but Sam doesn't trust it. Sam seeks out Briggs to talk about Mason disrespecting the rules, and Briggs gets angry with what he hears, but has something more important to resolve first. They head to the communication room, and Cooper says they've picked up a distress signal from Colony 5, but they can't make contact with anyone. Briggs schedules an emergency meeting in 30 minutes while Sam visits Victor, who takes care of the animals. But he also brings bad news. The most recent litter of rabbits came without life, and of the 12 that remained, there's only one female that the other rabbits reject. At the same time, Briggs confronts Mason about what he did, but Mason continues defending his choice, saying that if he gives sick people the option to leave, they would come back and steal their food. Then, Sam visits his girlfriend Kai, who gives him some protein balls for the rabbits and tells him about her work. She believes there is climate alteration technology hidden somewhere under the ice, which is why she won't give up searching with their radar. Soon after, the survivors gather for the meeting. Dexter asks his wife not to cough, and when Sam passes by, he notices they're sick and tells them to go to their rooms, but Dexter insists they're fine. At that moment, Briggs arrives and informs everyone about the situation with Colony 5, declaring that he will lead a group to see how they are. Mason complains, saying they shouldn't waste resources or people in these critical times, but is dismissed. Then Briggs invites Dexter to be part of the group. Then, to protect him, Sam offers to stay in his place, saying that Dexter should take care of the turbines. Graydon also volunteers, disregarding his father Victor's objections. Briggs entrusts Kai with the leadership of the group while he and the others leave. Soon after, Dexter's wife lets out a sneeze, and everyone protects themselves and distances themselves from her. They are quickly isolated, and Mason returns to criticizing, saying they should be examined and that Kai doesn't have the capacity to lead. Briggs warns him and says he'll only take action about the sick couple when he returns. In the midst of a blizzard, a boy walks against the wind until he comes across his mother, fallen and lifeless. At that moment, Sam wakes up, showing that it was a bad dream about his mother's death. Kai calms him and says it wasn't his fault. The next day, the team proceeds with their mission, which involves walking a lot under the snow and cold wind. After passing through an empty city, they see an old weather alteration machine, but it no longer works. Soon after, they reach a bridge and try to cross it very carefully, which is more complicated than it seems because of the damage it has suffered over time. They avoid the holes, and Briggs nearly falls when a part of the bridge comes loose under his feet, but he saves himself in time. At the end of the bridge, they see a car with a dead man next to it and a gun in his hand. When they look closer, they see the dead family inside the car and understand that the man murdered them before killing himself. After walking a long time in the snow, the trio finds a fallen helicopter and enters it to protect themselves during the night. Graydon has never witnessed a helicopter or airplane flight and marvels at this possibility. Briggs makes a call to his post to know how things are, and Cooper warns him that Dexter and his wife are deteriorating. Mason keeps insisting on examining them, so Briggs authorizes Cooper to react against Mason if he crosses the line. Later, Graydon finds an erotic magazine, and the others mock him for his interest in it. Briggs also mentions that this place is close to where he found Sam, who decides to tell his story to Graydon. When he was little, his family and other survivors took refuge in the mines. After they ran out of supplies and ate the dogs and horses, his father and other men went to the city looking for help, but didn't return. Sam wanted to protect his mother and sister from the death that was plaguing the shelter and decided to leave, but a blizzard separated them and he never knew about them again. He only didn't die too because Briggs saved him. The next day, they finally reach Colony 5 and are startled to see blood on the main door. They enter and notice a burning smell. They go down the stairs and see more blood, discovering that this was the same corridor from the beginning. The colony should have 50 people living there, but no one appears to receive them, which is very strange. Briggs gives a gun to Graydon for safety, and they move forward, finding blood and destruction in every corridor they pass through. When they were already resigned to everyone's death, they hear a sound coming from a closed room. Sam unlocks the door, and when they open it, they see a fallen man. They approach cautiously, but Leland screams at them, begging for mercy. The trio ensures they are peaceful, and Leland asks them to lock the door again before accepting some food and water. He has been trapped here for several days and doesn't know if anyone else is alive. He also tells that a few days ago their colony fixed their antenna and received a message that he shows to the trio now. On the screen, a man appears in an ice-free area explaining that his group fixed a weather machine and managed to melt the ice, so now they have access to fertile lands. The big problem is that they need seeds. The communication fails and they only capture a part of the place. Leland tells that they tracked the signal and sent a group to find this warm spot, but weren't successful. A threat found them first and chased them to the colony. Sam asks Leland to indicate the place on the map, and Briggs says they will take him along. But Leland is too afraid to leave the room and confesses that it wasn't him who caused the sound they heard. "I confess that when he said that, I got scared." The trio takes everything they can from the room and tries to talk to the colony, but can't. Then they leave and try to take Leland with them, but they hear strange noises, and Leland gets so scared that he runs back inside and closes the door. Without him, the trio moves forward, and the sounds of beatings and screams increase as they penetrate deeper into the post. Soon, they spot the brightness of some torches and approach to see a horrible scene. Among the corpses of the colonists, a man cuts a body into pieces, and others devour human flesh. The butcher notices their presence and turns to attack, but Sam is faster and shoots him. The shot awakens more cannibals from the pile of dead, and the chief roars while they chase after the group through the corridors. Sam hits the chief in the ear and eliminates another guy, but they are many, so Briggs throws a dynamite stick to delay them. Graydon gets lost from the group by carelessness, but doesn't have time to return before being surrounded by cannibals who soon throw themselves on him. Briggs and Sam appear and face the aggressors, eliminating them one by one until none remain alive. But when they look at Graydon, it's already too late. He has also lost his life. Without time to mourn, Briggs and Sam need to move forward. As they climb the stairs, Sam hits a cannibal with a shot and runs out of bullets, so Briggs destroys the stairs to block the cannibal's path. But there's a cannibal who was already there, so Briggs enters into combat with him and after much effort, manages to shoot him. The other cannibals arrive soon after and see what Briggs did, so their chief gets angry. When the two leave, Briggs throws dynamite at the entrance to explode this tower and close the colony. They walk in the snow for a while, and when they find the helicopter again, Briggs decides they'll sleep in it because the cold is increasing a lot. Briggs and Sam talk about the cannibals, and Briggs tells that people are capable of atrocities to keep themselves alive. Then he reports an experience he had in the army. When there was a rescue, 20,000 people were trapped in a stadium. The soldiers gave food, and doctors took care of the sick. But when the food ran out, armed people started stealing things from unarmed people. Then there was nothing left to steal, so the chief started choosing who lived and who died. Mason was from Briggs' platoon at that time, and they left that place together to look for a place where this kind of situation would never happen. The next day, the two realize that the cannibals were tracking their steps and are now getting close. Sam fears they'll lead them to the colony, but Briggs has an idea to stop them. They cross the bridge running as fast as possible and make a risky jump to pass more quickly, then place some lit dynamite near the hole and hide behind some broken signs. To their bad luck, the fuse is extinguished by the wind, and Briggs pushes Sam, who wanted to relight it, and takes his place. Briggs struggles to use his lighter with the wind, but doesn't give up, while some cannibals fall into the gap trying to reach him. Briggs manages to relight the fuse and attracts the cannibals close to himself, fighting with them. Suddenly, the dynamite he holds explodes. Briggs dies in the explosion, and the bridge breaks in half, preventing passage. Sam observes that some cannibals, including the chief, are still alive and looking at him from the other side, and then he flees again. At the same time, at the outpost, Mason drags Dexter and his wife outside, not caring about their pleas for mercy. Mason kills the wife with a shot, but before doing the same to Dexter, Kai appears and threatens him with a gun if he doesn't stop. While they argue about who should command the colony, a cry for help from Sam interrupts the conversation. Dexter uses the opportunity to escape, and Kai quickly goes to see what happened to Sam, who loses consciousness because of the cold. Mason arrives soon after and knocks Kai down with a blow. After a few hours, Sam wakes up inside the outpost and informs Victor the sad news about his son. Suddenly, Mason appears and handcuffs Sam to the bed, stating that the command has changed and claiming it's for survival. Rations will be reduced by 50%, anyone showing symptoms of illness will be examined immediately, and whoever doesn't want to work will go without eating. Sam reports to Mason everything that happened and insists they should leave before the cannibals find them, talking about the warm place he saw in the video. However, Mason doesn't trust him and leaves the room, taking everyone with him. Before leaving, a little boy confesses that he took the handcuff keys and secretly passes them to Sam. Outside, Mason and Victor observe if anyone is approaching, but everything is quiet. Victor says that Sam doesn't usually make up stories, so they need to prepare for a possible invasion. They decide to check the security cameras, but are interrupted when another colonist warns that Sam escaped. Meanwhile, Sam searches for Kai and finds her locked in another room. He quickly frees her and uses her computer to track the origin of the message. At first, he finds nothing, but after searching, the radar finally shows a warm region, indicating that the thaw is real. The couple takes as many seeds as they can carry in their backpacks and runs out to warn the others, but are surprised by Mason and his group, who reaffirm their authority. Suddenly, a loud bang comes from outside, and the group runs to see the security cameras. They are terrified to see the cannibals forcing the doors to invade, and their chief shows Dexter's decapitated head as a warning before destroying the camera. Sam finally convinces Mason, who soon gives instructions. Everyone who knows how to shoot should get a gun, and the others should take refuge in the vault. Cooper leads the colonists to the vault and locks the door, while the armed group goes to the corridor to face the door that's going to give in. Suddenly the lights go out, and when they come on, the door is open, but there's no one. Strange noises echo through the shelter, and surprisingly, a cannibal comes out of the ducts right in Cooper's face. He reacts, but the cannibal throws him to the ground and runs to the vault, but the colonists close the door just in time. In another corridor, a helpless girl seeks protection, but a cannibal finds her and murders her. The cannibals surprise the armed group in the ducts, where they also infiltrated and end up wounding Mason. The confrontation is violent and bloody, and many die on both sides, but the cannibals seem endless. Sam and Kai escape, but Victor decides to face their chief. He fights bravely, but ends up being killed by the enemy. Meanwhile, Mason, who is wounded, takes refuge in a room where there are others who couldn't go to the vault, and locks the door before Sam and Kai can enter. A cannibal follows them closely, and one of the refugees pushes Mason and lets Sam and Kai enter, but the cannibal also enters the room. Kai eliminates him immediately, and they try to close the door, but it won't hold for long because the other cannibals arrive and start breaking it down. Sam acts quickly and opens a duct, telling the group to exit through there. Mason complains, claiming they'll freeze and that it would be better to face the enemy right there. The others don't listen to him and escape through the duct. and Sam stops to give Mason a gun before following too. In a matter of seconds, the cannibals break down the door and chase Mason, who shoots at a gas tank to cause a large explosion. All the cannibals are eliminated except the leader, who takes refuge in the ducts at the right time. Soon the leader reaches Sam and they enter into confrontation inside the duct, which breaks with their blows and makes them fall into the cattle room. The fight continues while Sam keeps throwing anything he can grab at the cannibal, but the guy easily overcomes him and starts beating him. After some blows, the cannibal throws Sam to the ground and starts dragging him, which gives Sam the opportunity to grab a loose knife and hurt his adversary in the leg. Sam manages to dominate the man who is trying to protect himself and violently attacks him, disfiguring his face before decapitating. He tries to escape, but encounters the corridor in flames. Outside, Kai and the others who survived exit the duct and see their home on fire. Sam also exits the duct and tells them they need to find the warm place that the message mentioned. The group continues in the snow, seeking a new home soon. Hey, did you like the summary? Comment your opinion, it's important. In the first pinned comment, I'll leave a very good playlist of the best science fiction movies. Take a look there. So, see you next time.